this is the first time this has happened, but I mean we could just roll it back if you're cool with that, bro.
No, yeah.
Okay, so I was just say just reintroduce yourself because
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't initially see that my desktop audio wasn't recording, so I literally
Oh,
just switched it. So like it's only like 2 minutes if that's cool
yeah,
with you.
yeah. No. So my name is Keith. I go by Kalibvr. You can just call me Keith. Yeah, I'm from Sacramento. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I make funk music.
It's
That's about it.
bro. It's to me it sounded like it was the end of the world. Like when I was like, okay, let me just double check.
It's all good, man. Technical difficulties. Like I said, I would join on my computer, but my webcam, like I just need to get a new webcam. It turns on and off like during the call, and it freezes and stuff. So
Okay. Okay. I'm just glad we got it like the first 5 minutes or so versus like an hour later we just be like, damn, we just did like a whole hour or two of this. So, but what was the question you gonna ask me before? I forgot.
Oh, you said you asked me about the black and white thing, but you said you were gonna change your hat or something like that. Oh, just because.
Oh no, because this is the Phonk Around hat that I got.
Oh, no.
and it's pink and to me it's an eyesore, but I feel like if it was like black and white, it would look so dope, especially for the video. But
yeah, I'm rocking the end of Underground.
Oh man, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the shirt for that, and I got like the tour dates and everything on the back of it, so it's really cool, man. But going back to that, and the Underground tour, I'm not 100% sure. You were featured in, if I can recount, one of the actual tour stops. It was Portland, right?
Yeah, I got to go to Portland, which was super cool. So I got to open for Vaughn, Devin Wynn, and Corey were there, so that was super cool. Got to open for Ryan, and then I also got to do the Reno stop, so that was cool. I got to open for Ryan again, and then Back When, and then Mingo was also there. Yeah, so it was nice to hang out with all those guys and meet them, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good time for sure.
Definitely, man. So this is gonna be, well, I already asked the black and white aesthetic. That was like the second question, but yeah, I'm just trying to go back into like that. But next question is like, what's your background when it comes to DJing? Because publicly I saw like on your tagged photos and Instagram, I basically saw multiple of the venues that you either guest hosted at or you were actually on the actual roster. Basics, specifically there was 2 or 3 events in 2019, I think maybe 1 in 2020 if I can recount, and then after that it's sort of like when you got introduced to the Phonk Around and Find Out residence. Basically I think the first one I saw, I think Lunar Mantra was on it, like your very first one, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so I used to be like a bass music DJ back in the day, out here in Sacramento. I was really big into EDM. I mean, I still am, but I used to play a lot of shows out here in Sacramento in the EDM community, and I was pretty much introduced to funk in, I want to say like 2018, 2019, don't quote me, like right before COVID started. And as soon as I just basically kind of heard the genre, I fell in love with it. You know, I was just like, this shit is really tight. I want to do this. Like, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things like you find out it exists, and you know, like you just can't believe it exists. Because I had always really liked lo-fi and vaporwave and jazz and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool to find, you know, very jazzy beats but with a lot of bass. You know, I don't know. So it was like super cool. And I'd always really liked Suicide Boys and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to just finally find the genre. And I just kind of pre-COVID, or you know, and during COVID, just kind of dove in and learned all I could and how to make it. And yeah, here we are. But they eventually invited me out to do, don't remember what year it was, but invited me out to Denver to go play at Phonk Around and Find Out, and they just like really liked my set, and here we are. Yeah.
So, like about a year or two after like everything, I guess like initially how I basically found, I think it was maybe the 1-year anniversary is when I sort of got connected with them, and then after that I've just been trying to get connected with everybody that I possibly can, especially when it comes to like the videos. Yeah.
Where are you located at? I'm in Sacramento, but where are you? Because I know you were at the Baltimore show that they just did, right?
Yeah, so the Baltimore show that they did Thursday, and I was at the takeover. Though theoretically it was a takeover for like the last week, but I also went to the Baltimore show that they had last summer and the DC show that they had in January. So I'm located in that sort of area, so like Virginia, Maryland, DC area. So that's basically where I'm located. Like initially there weren't that many people that were interested, but I guess we kind of got on the radar when it came to like Trevor, St. Pond, and Bad Kids. So
Yeah.
those were like the real goats to me. They've been able to bring the funk scene to basically our states in general and just have us on the map in general, because no one really knew about us at all.
Yeah, that's super sick. I'm still trying to get people out here to be down to throw a show. You know, it's hard to convince people out here to kind of take that risk, but I'm trying to put everybody on out here. At least where I live.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I know this is gonna be like a future question when it came to like that, like I'm guess Sacramento is sort of the Bay Area, or it's like the closest to the Bay Area in terms of like Nevada or like Denver. Like it's probably like the closest to that area. Maybe.
Yeah, it's just more NorCal. I'm about an hour and a half away from the Bay, from San Francisco. Okay. But like I said, there's a huge EDM community out here. But and then I just know that they've thrown a couple shows out in San Francisco, but I don't know if those will continue to still go on or who's throwing those, you know. But
okay, dope. Because I know erickD, I think he lives in that general vicinity. I know, like I talk to him or DM him every once in a while. Like I'm not that close to him, but I know he wants to have a show or more shows in that general vicinity. I don't know, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I do know that he did go to a show. I think Vaughn was there, but for some reason he was nervous to like talk or hang out with him. And I'm like, he sounds exactly like me, like when I met all of you guys in person, and then after like the second or third interaction, I'm like, okay, this is second nature. So I'm like,
yeah, no, I actually got to go meet Eric. I actually got to go hang out with him one time. It was actually super. He's a really nice guy. But he's like located in the Bay Area as well. I know also Space is West Coast as well. There are a bunch that I can't name off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, we definitely have plenty of people out here that could, you know, play a show, or definitely a lot of talent out here on the West Coast for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I know that for a fact. Especially, I would say their aesthetic, it's completely different. I would say it doesn't matter what region everybody's from, they have like their own sound. Like Space has a similar sound to like Barry and Roland, which are basically in Europe, and then Eric basically has sort of like a Bay Area feel, so sort of a Southern Florida feel. Like it doesn't matter where they get their origins from, you can finally hear something that sounds different to a different style.
Yeah. erickD has like really locked in his sound. I feel like every song you listen to of his, he's really got it nailed down. And I think that's super important in this scene, is to definitely, you know, have your own sound. And Eric is crushing it right now in terms of that.
Yeah, definitely. I would say I do the same thing with my friends. I'm like, I'm trying not to fucking boost their ego or like inflame their ego half the time.
Yeah.
But I've said multiple times that I would want to collab with him in the future, and because for the sheer reason that I listened to his entire discography, like A through Z. Like he's probably and still is one of my favorite producers and artists in the scene. Actually, if I get to meet him in person or see him DJ, that'd be kind of dope to actually see the man behind all the music that I listen to. Did your mic cut out? Dude, this is so weird. This is so weird with the technical difficulties today for some reason. Oh, so sorry.
No, you're good.
My headphones unplugged the entire, like they just literally just unplugged over my mic. Like as soon as I moved my mic, like they completely turned off, man. I was like,
did you do you have it plugged into like an interface or something?
I have it to like a USB interface right now. I just need to get like a brand new USB interface, especially now that happened. Because I'm like, oh man, bro. Let me think. What was the last thing we talked about? I know it was Eric basically from the Bay Area talking about different sounds in general, right?
Yeah, I think what I was talking about, we were talking about DJing.
Okay.
I think you said you were excited to maybe see like Eric play a show. Mm-hmm. And then I think I was talking about like, obviously, like, yeah, a lot of, I'm sure other people have brought this up, but a lot of funk producers like don't know how to DJ. But it's really nice, you know, with all these shows going on, I think people are like learning how to. You know, a lot of producers are actively looking to learn how to. Because I started DJing before I started making music. So I think that's just, you know, how I was ready to play a show. Yeah, man, I hope more people learn how to spin and mix music, because it'd be way cool to have way more funk shows, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think so this is like a story, and this is probably the first time I'm going to tell this story because it literally just happened on Thursday. So me, Young Demon, which is basically another admin in the 808 server. I'm guessing you've probably been in it already before.
Yeah, I got to judge one battle from that competition, but yeah, it's a great server.
Yeah, definitely. So I remember there was a guy that actually came to the actual show. I think he was based in Virginia. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the only thing that he was like, that he just kept saying is like, yo, these mixes are so damn sick and this music is so fucking good. I was like, why didn't I know about this or learn about this like just recently? And I'm like, dude, it's a long time coming. These shows are literally just popping up in like the last couple of years. So he was happy and he was excited that there's a roster of people and there's going to be more shows in the future as well, because everybody's mix, especially for the Thursday takeover in Baltimore, it was so seamless. Like there were times where maybe one time when someone messed up out the entire time, but you already know like people mess up during their sets. It's like not the end of the world as long as you can like maneuver your way past it. And I was like, dude, all these people are so talented and I'm just glad that it's actually happening in my city.
Yeah, messing up, that's definitely just a part of DJing, you know, but I think the biggest way to recover is just your level of confidence or how much confidence you present. You know, if you mess up, it's no big deal. It happens. I think also people like to know that it's real too, you know, when you mess up, or everyone makes mistakes, you know, but see that you're human, you know.
Yeah, I remember one guy last year, it was the funniest shit on the planet. So I remember Chris for the big, like the End of Underground tour, basically like the first stop, which was Baltimore. He messed up. I think him and Trevor messed up in the middle of their sets. Trevor was like, whoops. Because he told me the story yesterday. I was like, bro, what the fuck? How did I forget that? And then Chris, he messed up his set. Like he accidentally pressed the Q button and like it completely stopped his entire song. And then everybody was frozen. It was like, oh man, like we were just throwing our hands in the ground, up in the air basically. And then there was this guy who was like, that's how you know he's real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, people...
oh man, like he was just saying like, you know, he's a real DJ if it stops, this isn't fake.
It's a part of life. It happens.
Yeah, man. I think that was like the funniest thing on the planet that I actually saw at a show, for real. Going back to that, when it comes to live shows, this could be somebody that's actually in the scene or not in the scene, but who's basically one person, I guess you could say, that you could emulate at a live show, or like who's somebody that you saw at a live show when you kind of had the question or the thought, I could actually do this.
I don't know. Like I said, man, I've been DJing for a while now. I really got into, you know, going to shows, like my EDM shows, like when I was in high school. And I don't, you know, just ever since in high school, I wanted to learn how to DJ basically. But you're talking in terms of like people in the funk scene that I wanted to like learn how to? I think back when his sets are always very high energy, and I really like his music production, but he's someone I definitely look up to a lot, and I think he kills it every time he plays too. I think I've only seen him play once, and it was just in Reno. It was a really good set, but all of the live streams that he's been on, that I've got to see on YouTube and stuff, his mixes that he puts out, they're all really good, and I like really look up to them in terms of energy and production wise, and yeah, he just kills it every time.
Yeah, I would say that's something me and Everest were actually talking about like the last basically few days, like how he's so chill but he makes such great music at the same time. It's surprising, like especially when you meet him, same person that you either see on the vlogs, you see on his YouTube channel, especially when you see him at a show. It's sort of like same person, just glad that it's the same person, no egos attached to anything, just everybody's down to earth. And that's sort of the same wavelength of how I talk to Corey and Wasabi, basically Imperium and Hoodie, that's just transitioning into that. So next question, last year, which is basically, I tried going through your SoundCloud as much as I could, even though it ranges from recently about a year to up to 5 years. And my question is, you put Welcome to Cali Part 1 and Part 2 just within the last year, along with your Portland mixed on SoundCloud. How's the actual growth been since actually dropping those two projects, along with the mix that you dropped, as well as basically having live shows within the last year or two?
Yeah, I mean, it's been growth has been really good, especially after I put out the first tape. I would say the growth has been huge. I'm really slow when it comes to making music, and like I'm not the greatest producer in the world at all whatsoever. It's just really tough for me to get something I consider good going. So I was just really proud of myself when I put out that first tape, because it's something I'd always wanted to do. And I mean, you have people in this scene that are like dropping like tapes after tapes after tapes, you know, month after month. So, but I just don't work at that speed, you know. So I was just really happy when I got that first tape out, just because it was just a lot of work. Plus, I have like a hard time finishing songs as well. I don't know if you've ever with that. All, but or being confident enough to release something, you know. But yeah, the growth has been great. I feel like I'm definitely getting better at finishing songs and learning to kind of, I also have a hard time like letting go of songs too. Like I tend to overwork on them like crazy. I feel like I'm definitely getting better at calling something complete and letting it get out there. But yeah, I like the Welcome to Cali 2 has only been out I think like a week, but the reception seems to be really good, and I hope people like it. But you shall see. Yeah, the growth has been nice, man. I'm getting a lot of compliments on the tape, and hoping it just keeps going from here.
Yeah, man. Well, I kind of want to get your input on basically, so it's similar, you can like chime in like in the middle of me talking about this, but it's sort of like the second generation of both funk producers, like post-COVID in general, and especially when it comes to live shows, because while there were live shows before COVID, it's not as strong as how it is now, or it's not being as broadcasted as it is currently right now. So yeah, what's basically your thought of like the pre-COVID era when it comes to both the live scene and the funk scene versus the post-COVID era?
I mean, we're definitely in a better place, I feel like, than we've ever been, for sure. I mean, it's very unfortunate what's happened with the whole cowbell, TikTok funk, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that gaining, you know, worldwide recognition, or, you know, your average person just thinking funk is just cowbell or drift funk, you know. But in terms of live shows, I mean, it's definitely better than it's ever been. I couldn't believe when I got invited out to go play Denver the first time, you know, that just blew my mind. But I don't know, and there's definitely a lot of room for growth. It would be very nice if our type of funk, the kind that we like, is the stuff that blew up and most people know about. Yeah, I don't know what else I really have to say about that, but it's definitely, you know, it's nice to see that there's actual events happening compared to pre-COVID. I think it was super rare you would ever hear of a funk artist playing in your town pre-COVID, you know. But now there was literally a tour for it, you know, last year with Ryan Celsius, and that's just something that I couldn't even comprehend pre-COVID, you know. So it's definitely in a better spot than I feel it's ever been.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for some reason, I definitely know for a fact that music-wise, it's gotten like 1,000 times better. For some reason, yeah, there's so many names, you lose track of like how many good producers and great producers there are. Because I know when I was talking to Enoch, and I'm gonna just reference him multiple times in these videos, but yeah, he is basically the person that I always go to when it comes to like a reference, because he was there for like the very first Holy Mob shows, basically like 19 before COVID, even during COVID at the time, possibly, I don't know for a fact. And seeing the growth now, which is exponential in his eyes, and just having him as that reference, because he's been in the scene longer than I have when it comes to like live shows and meeting people. So it's a huge difference to how he compares it to how it was previously versus now. Yeah,
I think also now that there's, you know, shows happening and stuff, I think definitely myself included are like purposely making stuff funk wise that fits better for a live audience, you know, stuff that has like way more higher energy, you know, stuff that goes off live rather, I don't know, you know, compared to funk that's just more like chill or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, definitely people are purposely making stuff that's high energy, you could actually, you know, dance to it or whatever at a show. Yeah man.
So I'm gonna probably skip this next question because it has to deal with your tapes and also the collabs that you actually have on it. I'm gonna just jump a little further down. So this is something that I definitely did want to ask. This, I kind of put it as like a 6th or 7th question, but I'm gonna just ask it right now. How did you actually connect with Phonk Around and find out?
Yeah, so Devin is actually the one that hit me up. I think they just were looking for people that were located in the state, just to come out and play their shows in Denver. And I'm located in Sacramento, and he just hit me up and was like, hey dude, do you obviously you make funk, do you happen to DJ as well? And I said, yeah, I've been DJing for a long time. And they just asked me to come out and play a show, and I was super down. I don't know, at least in the EDM world, it's when you're very small, you kind of get hesitant about playing shows out of state. Sometimes it's not super legit, but they were super legit about bringing me out. Their hospitality was super great. All great guys. Ended up really connecting with them, and I had a great time playing out there. And they just really liked my set, and they just asked me if I wanted to be a part of the team and help grow their vision. And I was super down. So I've just been homies with them ever since.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's actually funny because basically he recommended you to actually be the next person that I talked to. And it's funny because talking about it now and me dropping the local video like probably like a day or two ago at this point, it's kind of funny because I talked to them multiple times about it, like within the span of them being in town. Like, okay, I have this video dropping. Just get somebody, just get the whole fucking roster at this point. I'm like, yo, say less, I'm on it. So it's kind of cool that I was actually able to get you on here, and it's I just got to get like a few more people, and I'm Gucci, and then just helping wherever I possibly can, especially when it comes to different content, different videos, and all that other stuff that they're interested in as well.
Yeah, keep it up, man. I think Derek talked about this, or Local talked about this in the last video, but he is saying, and I agree with this, it's very nice to see content coming out for funk that, like he said, isn't just people reposting music or, stuff like that. So it's nice to, hear everybody's opinions on the scene and funk. And I don't know, also I feel like in the past, a lot of people were like kind of shrouded in mystery, in the whole SoundCloud thing. You got a lot of funk artists, you didn't really know much about them or stuff like that. But if people are, or at least I try to, but I feel like people are coming out of their shell and more open to talk about, their experiences with it or whatnot,
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. Like I didn't have to like chase him or anything in any sense when I was talking to him. But Local, like he was super down to do it, and it honestly shocked me because obviously there's a lot of people, especially when it comes to like Cloudbug, Space. Even at the time, I guess Roland didn't want to like have his face out there at some given point. And like I respect the privacy aspect of it, the reasoning behind it, because even like me, I didn't want to show my face. I didn't want to like have my face labeled towards the brand that I want to bring. And like I respect it, and I also respect that they also give me this platform as well to both put them on it as well as help the community out, which is, it takes a lot of balls. Like anybody that's on any of the videos that I have, it takes a lot of guts to actually put your face out there and give a face to a name in general.
Right. Yeah, no, Derek is super, I listened to the whole interview, watched it. He's super knowledgeable about like this scene. He's been a long time fan of this scene. He definitely knows his shit when it comes to funk. That, and he's a great producer as well, and a great guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's so laid back. He DM'd me multiple times before I posted it. He was like, yo, can you please like send it to me as soon as you're done it? Can you please like so I can just listen to it like 3, 4, 5 times so I don't sound like a nutcase? And I'm like, okay, I will tell you when I'm done it. I'll send you the link as soon as possible, because like while we were talking, if he said it multiple times or not, he was like, I have a hard time talking, like just rambling continuously. And I'm like, dude, it's completely fine. Like the more you talk about the scene, the more that you talk about like everything that's happening when it comes to like the live sets and everything in the community, the better. Like like go on for all I care. I know you talked about like Hoodie and everybody else with the Phonk Around and Find Out crew. I think you initially talked about them bringing you on to the actual agency in general. Did you have to actually pitch that to them in any type of way, shape, or form? Or was it sort of, they liked your set, they fucked with your vibe, so if you're down to join us, you can just join us?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think their mission is obviously, to expand, live shows and funk just, kind of around the States, around the world. And I think they were just mostly looking for people that could actually DJ funk. And when I went out there and kind of showed my way of how I do it, they just wanted to bring me onto the team to kind of help expand their vision, out here where I live, and more so just add my skill set or DJ skills just to their roster. I think they're mostly just looking for people that can DJ. You know, I feel like that's, like I said, it's hard to find, you know, in funk, because most people are just producers. Yeah, I think they just were very impressed with my set and just wanted me to be a part of the team.
Yeah, definitely. And I bet you like they were shocked when they were like, oh, you can DJ and also you can produce at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I learned how to produce after I started DJing. So I'm still working on, you know, my music and my craft and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, man. So this is also another question that I want to ask you, and it kind of deals with like the video aspect and everything when it comes to like DJing, when it comes to content creating, when it comes to producers. What's something that you feel like needs to be added or there needs to be more of in the community, whether it be like DJing, more producers, more content creators, vloggers, just anything in general?
I definitely think content creation is great. You know, like Derek said in the last video, in terms of content, like it's a lot of just, you know, reposting of music and stuff like that. So what you're doing, like Backwhen's vlogs, those are also great to see, you know, just a little bit more behind the scenes. It'd definitely be nice to see, I know people live streaming, like when they make music, that's super helpful as well. In terms of the producing side, what I'd like to see more out of in the funk scene is we have to be very careful, just because we definitely work in a sample based genre. I don't know if that, you know, we do a lot of sampling. So I feel like we just have to kind of be careful in terms of reusing samps, reusing the same drums. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say, but I just feel like we kind of have to, you know, expand or do stuff to move the genre forward production wise. You know, we just kind of have a job, or I feel as a producer, to, I don't know, introduce new ideas, you know, new concepts. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand it, because it was the same way that there's sort of people that emulate from the tutorials from Zap Beats, or when it comes to 127, those tutorials like how to Barry Main, how to Roland Jones, how to Studio.
Yeah.
It's sort of like those same styles are ingrained into the producers that are trying to get their foot wet, or to get their feet wet into the actual funk scene. So it's definitely something that has been talked about multiple times when it comes to like, it sounds great, the music is awesome, like the mix downs are getting better and better each and every single year. It's just, you see it every once in a while when people like Keith Guru or other people, when it has like DMB or Jungle and Jake, like he doesn't make funk as much recently, but having different genres or aspects in general expand, while also having that sort of, not Memphis aspect, but that funk feel, I would say.
Yeah, it is super, the DMB funk is super refreshing. But I don't, you bring up 127, like I don't know if you've heard like his last tape that he just did. I don't know if it was called like Clips or something Clips or whatnot, but it was super refreshing to hear. I don't know if you've heard that at all by chance.
I haven't heard it. I know I have like his old tapes in my rotation. I have the collab that he did with Odd, but he hasn't been on my radar because I don't see his stories on Instagram. That's mainly where I can find people, especially if I'm not on Discord, I'm on Instagram, and then vice versa. And SoundCloud, I see new tapes drop basically all the time, so I can keep up to date with all the names, so like I can get more recommendations. But I'm gonna probably honestly look at that as soon as I get off, like when we're done with this.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what type of beats you would call it, but like it's stuff that like Missy Elliott would rap over, or stuff like that. They've got a lot of bounce and swing to them, but it was really good. But stuff like that, just new concepts, new ideas and stuff, just to kind of keep things refreshing, you know, moving the genre forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's funny that you say that, because I remember as soon as you said Missy Elliott, the first person I thought of when it comes to like that sort of aspect is like Y2K, like that sort of aesthetic. And also like the stuff that Tony also produces, which it comes to like sort of jazzy, sort of blues, not as much funk oriented when it comes to like the soul or like the gritty Memphis style. It's more clean, I would say, but it's also bass heavy.
Yeah,
it sounds a lot different than what's actually being pushed when it comes to other producers.
Yeah, I love Tony's stuff. It's just very soulful. It's very different, I feel like, than what everybody's putting out. He has a few songs of his that I have in rotation constantly. I love his music.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of that, when it comes to other producers, this is like the next loaded question, the one I skipped a second ago.
What you got for me?
Okay. I went through your entire SoundCloud discography and Spotify discography when it comes to your collabs in general. It's gonna take me like 30 seconds to a minute to talk about this. Then I'll ask you the question. So heavyweight collabs when it comes to solos include Cloudbug, Backwind, and Local Stranger on solos. And also when it comes to Welcome to Cali Part 1 and 2, you have Local repeated on, I would say, both tapes. No, the first tape, the first part 1, and also a solo tape, which personally to me, I think it's called, if I can actually look at it right now, All I Know with Local. That's my favorite right now. I listen to it on Spotify all the time. You have Odd One and Wu Bass, Low, erickD, Killfigure, Doja, Keith Guru, NCS. And on Welcome to Cali Part 2, you have Local again, Doja, Rocketman, Backwind, Space, and Killfigure. It can be any of those names possible, or it can be a name that I didn't talk about that I'm probably missing. But who's one person that you are interested in collaborating with in the future, whether they were either named on any of these projects that you did with them or not?
Oh man, there's so many people I want to work with, dude. I don't know. I really want to work with. God, I wish I could pull up my thing right here. And the person immediately that comes to mind is Got No Time. Do you know Got No Time? Yeah. We had a collab that we were working on, but it just didn't end up coming through. But that's someone that I definitely wanted to work with in the future. I've always wanted to work with Sway 55 too. Just Sway is super cool. There's so many people. Oh my goodness. Those are just I've always wanted to work with Everest as well. Those are just a few people off the top. I'm sure I'm missing some, but yeah, those are just some people I haven't worked with that I would love to in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this is just my thought process, but I try to do this like similar to when it comes to like different collectives doing different collabs with each other. I think one person I think I could see you doing a collab with that you probably already have on here would probably be like a space collab. And when it comes to like the wavy aspect, I feel like it's a toss up between like Bright and Everest as well.
Yeah, when I went out to Dallas, I got to meet Bright. He's actually a super sick dude. We had talked about possibly starting something, but I think I'm just busy, dude. We're just adults with jobs and stuff. But I would love to work with Bright and Everest. Both of those guys are like wave legends. Space, yeah, I just recently worked on something with him on his new tape, and then we had that one that's on my tape as well. But that kid is super talented, man. And he's also like in the kind of California area. So yeah, that's the dude right there. I love working with Space. He's so talented.
Yeah, definitely. This is also off the top of my head. Who's one person that you will want to see collab with somebody? So like one artist with another artist that you've either seen or haven't seen so far.
That's a tough question, man. Damn. Damn. To be honest, I really want it just because it's only happened once, but I would love to see Sudier and Cloudbug collab again. They just got that one song from the Hide Up song, I think it's called. I mean, those two, they're really good, man. And I don't know, I feel like I would love to see what a 2024 modern funk song would sound like with them, you know, because I feel like Cloud has his own sound now compared to, you know, when he dropped Hide Up with Sudier, and Sudier's definitely has his own sound as well. So it'd be nice to hear kind of a modern collab.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like you said earlier, production style of both of them when it came to their tapes dropping, like I think Pirelli Volume 7, and I don't know what tape I can't remember the name of the series or the trilogy that he has right now off on SoundCloud off the top of my head, but the different production styles, they hit so much harder than how the production style was maybe 4 years ago. I think that's when it actually dropped. Yeah, if I'm right. But
so yeah, looking at Pirelli Volume 3, which has Hide Up on it with Sudier and Cloudbug, and let me look and see what date this came out on Spotify at least. Yeah, this is 2017, dude. Damn.
7 years. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the exact date that it dropped on SoundCloud, but yeah, this is 2017 on here.
Dude, that's crazy. Like, I'm just thinking like how far the production style has gone as well. Like, it's great that it's gotten much more crisp when it comes to like a cleaner mix in general. Yeah, there's always ways to improve, especially videos when it comes to production style. Just there's always room for improvement in the scene.
Oh yeah, big time. As long as you just, I mean, you know, any work you do to improve your craft is going to help in the long run. You know, it's just don't give up. Just keep going after it. You'll, you know, it's like riding a bike, man. The more you do it, or riding a skateboard, dude, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. You know?
Yeah, man, definitely. So, are there any talks of you probably doing a live show in the future? Because I kind of checked your Instagram a little bit. Like, you have like your stories when it comes to your recent tape drop, and also the shows that you did in the past. Are there any talks of you probably flying out again and performing a show?
Yeah, no, I recently just started a new job, so I mean, it's just I've been kind of busy with like personal life stuff and whatnot, but I would love to go back out there again and definitely play a show. Yeah, I just got to talk to Corey and see what we can work out and stuff, but yeah, I would love to go back out there again in a heartbeat, play whatever show they might have going on, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say this is funny that you bring that up, because I tell everybody I want to DJ. I want to do a show so badly. It's just I never like had a big deck in front of me, or like a big Pioneer, I think 2000 DD 2000 in front of me. But literally last weekend I was just spinning randomly with St. Pond, and they were like, yo, this is actually sick. And I was like, really? That's crazy. And it was just shocked, because they were like, it was kind of seamless, and I just kept switching from song to song. It was like 10-15 minutes past, and they're like, yo, you good? And I was like, was I zoning in or anything? And they were like, this is sick. If you want to do anything, just let us know. And I was like, I'm always down to do something for you guys.
Yep. I mean, the biggest thing when you're learning how to DJ, man, is just obviously first and foremost, make sure you're having fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just enjoy the whole process of learning. And over time, it'll just come naturally to you. But yeah, spinning is so much fun, man. Just eventually you'll learn, you know, different tips and tricks that'll just make you better. But as long as you're having fun, man, that's the most important part.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like your tips for anybody that wants to get into DJing, right? Because that's like another question I was gonna ask you. Like, definitely somebody that hasn't DJed before, or DJed at a live venue, that might watch this video. If there's another piece of advice that you could ask somebody, whether that be if they want to perform or they just want to go to the show in general, like, what's a piece of advice that you would give somebody?
Somebody that's just starting out DJing. I mean, that would be it, dude. It's just to make sure that you're having fun in the whole process, and, you know, enjoy the process of learning. Always strive to, you know, get better and see how you can improve your craft. Don't put so much pressure on yourself when you're learning. These things don't happen overnight. It'll take time. But yeah, if I can do it, you know, anybody can learn how to DJ, man.
Dude, I feel like that's the same way how everybody introduces like the aspect of DJing. It's like, I'm not the smartest person in the world. Like, if I can do it, anybody can.
As long as you got rhythm and you can push a button, man, anybody can learn how to do
it. That's actually hilarious, bro. Oh my gosh. I didn't notice it until like I actually got on a big deck. I'm like, okay, this is pretty simple. Still nervous, but go crazy.
I think a lot of people hype it up to be this really difficult thing, but I truly think that, you know, anybody can learn how to DJ. They've definitely made it a lot easier too for people, as you know, as compared to like using vinyl or stuff. I don't know if I could ever do that, man. I don't know if you've ever seen vinyl DJs and stuff. That shit looks tough.
Yeah, bro, just backspinning and all the different techniques, like, versus like pressing a button or two. It's like two different worlds, but same concept. Just one takes more steps, one takes less steps.
Yeah.
Okay, so guest call out. So we already talked about Hoodie being your connection to Phonk Around to Find Out. He was also the guy that he was the first person that I can recollect from one of the videos to actually call you out to be a part of this video. And I also want to shout him out as well, because he had probably the best set at the Baltimore Takeover in general. So he called you out. This is your time to call somebody out. So who's somebody that hasn't been featured in a video that you would want to see on a video like this?
This is a tough. I had a few people I was thinking about this. I think someone already said this, maybe, or a few people may, but I think Intius would be a really good one for you to do. I don't know if he'd be down to do it. You'd have to ask him. I have no clue. Intius would be sick. If you haven't done Everest yet, I don't know if you've talked to him or he'd be down, but Everest would be a sick one. Got No Time would be sick. Just kind of go through here, see if there's anybody. Yeah, I think those are my couple people that I would name off the top of my head. That would be cool.
Yeah, man. I think there's I don't know who recommended NCS. I think at this point it's 3 people that recommended him. It's like really difficult to DM him. I don't think he's even seen any of my DMs. I don't even know if he's seen any of my videos. He probably has. I don't know because I'm not in everybody's radius or radar in general. But I'll definitely see if I can like slide into DMs real quick and ask him if he's down to do that. Got No Time. That's definitely something because his production and his posts and everything are just so high quality. They remind me of like the Phonk show in general. Like it's just such a high quality output for stuff in general.
Yeah, his output has been, I mean, I feel like he drops a track like every week or other week, and it's always really quality work. And I don't know, he's on fire. Personally, NTS would just be great just because he is just an OG in the scene. Absolutely, he's probably super knowledgeable. I've talked to him a few times, but he's very knowledgeable about the history of this stuff, and he's been around for a long time. So I just he would have some great opinions on the subject for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say he collabed with a homie of mine, Pygmalion, and he lives like maybe like a half hour away from me. Pygmalion lives like hella close to me, and I'm like, how did you get a collab with NTS? And he was like, yo, he just fucked with my shit and just sent me something. And I was like, that's so cool because I listen to his music all the time. In terms of Everest, super dope. Like pardon my language, but like he's literally like everything I kind of expected from every single person that I either hung out with so far or talked to. No ego, just overall chill, easy person to work with, super talented, and he's about the same age as me, which is like really young. So he's very mature for his age as well. Like you definitely can tell like he has a level head when it comes to everything that he does, especially production wise, mix wise, live shows in general. Like he's definitely got it all. In my eyes, he basically has, I guess, the whole package when it comes to like somebody that is a good person to look up to in the scene in general.
Yeah, he's definitely has his own sound, which is super important. Again, I really hope to catch a set from him one day because I feel like, I mean, if he keeps it out, he's gonna blow up like crazy. But I just think if he keeps at it, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Nah, you're good, man. Like I know there's a lot of people that talk about being nervous when it comes to videos. Like at this point, it's like second nature to me. Cause dude, if you go back to like my first video ever, I'm super nervous and like I lose my train of thought all the time. But
how long have you been doing these now? It's been a couple months, right?
So this is funny because I started doing YouTube when I was in high school.
Okay.
I've done photography about 8 years to the T. When it comes to like funk videos, I've been doing it for like 2 years. When it comes to the interviews, I've only been doing it for 4 months.
Okay.
So it's like really brand new to me. Like the entire format, calls and everything, just all of this is completely brand new. If there's somebody to learn off of or to deal with production when it comes to like funk videos, I'm basically the only example that I can give for that, besides like Kai, Make Vaughn, and also Shinzo when it comes to production style. Those are kind of the only 3 people I can recommend. But I just want to tell everybody, if there's anybody that wants to get into making videos, just start. Yeah. Same thing with music. Just pick up a camera, learn how to edit videos. It takes a while, maybe like a week or so, but once you have the ball rolling, you're pretty much set. Just dropping videos.
Sky's the limit, man. You won't know unless you try.
Yeah, man.
I feel like it goes for everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true, especially in any aspect in life. Like it's the same deal.
Sure.
Okay, so last question, and then you can also ask me some more questions like later in the video. So who would you want to see in a live setting that you haven't seen be featured so far? Because I know you said you want to catch an Everest mix or an Everest live show. I would say in general that's the right word, because it took me a second to actually think of the actual word. Who's somebody that you want to see DJ for the first time?
It would, for the first time ever, it would definitely be Cloudbug. I would love to see a Cloudbug set. But some people like I haven't seen yet that I would love to, definitely Studier. I just know it's probably difficult for him, obviously, because he's overseas, you know. So I would like to see Intius live. That would be pretty sick. I know I think he played one show over on the East Coast, but would love to see a live set from him. Those are just a few people off the top of my head. Let's see if I have anybody else here. It would be sick to see a Roland Jones set live. I know I think he just maybe played one last night. Maybe they had some show over in Germany or something like that.
Yeah, so
or I don't know if he was on the lineup or whatnot, but I know there's just a bunch of producers over there, dude, going crazy.
There's a fuck ton of like at least a dozen producers, and I'm like, they're just killing it right now. Especially in Europe. Like all the meetups that they have, they get a lot of people versus like us, we have maybe at most 5, 6, maybe even 7 people, and some people don't want to like be known in the crowd basically, versus them, they want to know that they're there. Like you see videos, you see photos. I know Alec said that he performed in Germany. I think he might be going to either Paris or another city. I don't know 100% sure, but I think they just had the flyer pop out, and I think Roland's doing another show next week. Yeah,
Roland's Rocket Man stories are super funny, right? All of them.
Yeah. Dude, he's so cool. He's so fucking dope. Like I don't know how many times I've talked about him in general, but while we were talking on like the video that I did with him, same deal with everybody else. Super chill. It's pretty easy to work with. And down to earth in general. He's a really good role model. That's also like something else. Like, who do you think might be a good role model in the scene in general?
Well, Little Rocket Man is definitely a great role model. Back When is also another great one. I mean, his output is insane. It's quality work. You know, live sets are all great. Yeah, Rocket Man has always been super cool. I've only got to hang out with him once when I went to go play out in Denver the second time. But yeah, he's a great guy. I hope I get to hang out with him more. But he seems like he has a good sense of humor and solid producer. He's also a great DJ as well.
Yeah.
But definitely a great role model.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I'm still shocked the fact that his output is still growing to this day, because there's so many projects that doesn't have released yet, along with the mixes that he produces in general. Like most of the stuff is unreleased, or he's just putting people on to other music in general. Like he talked about it, it's like a 50-50. Like he performs his own stuff along with the collabs, which are a lot of collabs, and he also performs a ton of other producers and artists that are also in the scene. So it's kind of cool that he does that as well with his shows.
Yeah, I'm hoping eventually to get to that point where my live sets will be just all originals. That's the dream for sure. I feel like that's such an impressive feat to pull off, you know, to have a set with all your own original music, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Minus all the technical difficulties. We've been recording for like an hour and 3 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be like a solid hour in general, like when I'm actually done. But are there any questions that you would want to ask me in general that you could think of?
No, man, I don't have any questions for you. Yeah, sorry I'm so awkward. I wish I was more knowledgeable about the subject, but I wish I had more to say. But if you have any other questions you want to ask, just let me know. But yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, man. Bro, I can't even think of any other questions. I guess we could probably just chop it for like another like 10, 15, 20 minutes if you're down.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Shit, I'm trying to think of a topic, because we already went through all the questions in general. So we already talked about live scenes. We already talked about the funk scene. I guess what's your opinion on the funk playlist? Because people always have like a different opinion on the playlist when it comes to Spotify.
Well, the new one, the Phonk Origins one that just came out.
That one, along with the bigger playlist with like, I think at this point it's like 7.5 million ads.
The one that just says Phonk.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it sucks, you know, but it's not like there's anything we can do about it. And we can at least be thankful that Spotify made that Phonk Origins playlist, you know, to at least show some respect to it, you know, the Phonk Origins, you know. But it's not a whole lot we can do about it now other than continue to spread our sound or the music that we like. Yeah. What do you think about it?
My opinion changes all the fucking time about the actual playlist, because I have to realize that in order to grow, even someday I would want to like collaborate with some of these people in general, because I told Loco this, I want to get the most heat for this video if this actually happens, but I do want to collab with Kordhell on a video. Like that's something that I will want to see happen.
I do too. That's really cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah, like that's like also a dream stream because I want to see like people's opinion, because like Pooty hates him. Pooty like really doesn't like it. I don't know if Kordhell likes Yakai or anything in general. I'm not on his radar at all. Having that would be pretty dope. And transitioning to the Phonk playlist, I personally think, and this is just my own, not my own assumption, but my assessment, it's sort of like the new generation versus the old generation when it comes to music in general. So similar to, there are people that feature Juicy J or Project Pat on different tapes. An example would be how Metro and Future actually had both of those, like We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You albums. There are a lot of loops and samples that are Memphis oriented, or they come from different samples that people use from different Memphis tapes in general, and people don't know that unless you're really tapped into either like production or the actual origins of how Memphis actually originated, or like how Memphis rap originated. So I see that as like a similarity. We're sort of like the underground. It's funny that I say that because in one of 3 6 Mafia's most popular tapes, they're the most known or most well-known unknowns. So like having the Phonk Origins playlist be like, we're the unknown knowns, or the known unknowns. That sounds weird when I actually say it. Versus like having this big playlist. If you dig a little deeper, or you're actually tapped into what the actual behind the scenes is, because that's how I feel like all the producers are in general, it sort of adds another layer to the actual name of what Phonk actually is. So while people might hate like what Drake has or what Future has, or like the production style, or like what they actually do as artists, they kind of have to respect it to some aspect, like how far it's actually become in some way, shape, or form. Like you might hate that it has like 7.5 million ads, but if you dig a little deeper, you can hear the inspiration or like the background to everything and how it came to actually be today.
I mean, any exposure is good exposure, right? Whether it be, you know, negative or positive, you know, but at least people know what the name is now. Way more people know just what the word Phonk is now, or just of the word. So, you know, and I feel like, I mean, out of how many people are being introduced to the new cowbell stuff, I mean, there's got to be a sliver of people that, you know, get introduced to that will eventually find the stuff that we listen to or we like.
Yeah, and I just realized that was a winded explanation, and that might be like a clip or a short in the future, I'm not gonna lie, but that's sort of like my analogy to like Phonk Origins versus Phonk in general, like all lowercase basically. So somebody's gonna probably clip that in the future if they actually know who the fuck I am in general. Yeah, I like my definition of Phonk changes almost every single year at this point, because just like everybody else, I hated it. I tolerate it a little bit. I kind of dig some of the stuff like Ghostface and Pharmacist and all those other people in general, and I kind of dabble in it just a tiny bit. I'm not like a lover of it 100%, but I kind of gotta respect the growth or the grind set, I guess.
Yeah, there's always gonna be, I mean, there's always going to be music that comes out that we don't understand, that the next generation loves, but we're like, this shit sucks. You know? I mean, that happens every year, man. Like the kids are listening to now, type of deal. But it happens every generation, man.
Yeah. That's actually true, man. Because it was, I don't know if I'm not really tapped into like EDM or like that. Like the only thing I think of is like Monster Cat, and I just explored that YouTube channel in general when it comes to like smaller EDM artists in general. But yeah, I guess I might compare it to that like in the 2010s. I don't know 100% like that aspect, but I guess it's sort of like a similarity that people want to compare it to.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people compare what's happening to Phonk. Like, I guess that whole scenario happened with dubstep back in the day. Like, dubstep, when it first originated, was very, like, deep sounding, and it wasn't as aggressive. It was more of a chill type of music that you would listen to. But eventually, this whole very aggressive sound came out of nowhere, like when Skrillex was doing his thing, and it was super aggressive and different, and that type of, a lot more people started to make more aggressive dubstep, and that's what happened to that. The name dubstep is it just got associated with being this aggressive, you know, headbang music, you know, as compared to the chill, deeper stuff. That's exactly what's happening to our genre now, is that people are associating Phonk with just the whole cowbell sound.
Yeah, okay. I asked Freddie this in his interview, or like his video in general that I did with him. What are the origins of your actual name of Kalibvr?
Oh, so I used to be, like I said, I used to be a bass music DJ back in the day, and I don't know, I just thought that sounded sick. I would change my name in a heartbeat. I've been kind of wanting to, but I don't really like that name. But it starts with a K, and my name's Keith, so that was just one thing. The whole California thing. I'm from California, been here the whole time, so I thought that would be a cool idea to have. But I've just stuck with it ever since, man, and here we are.
Yeah, that's definitely dope, because I keep forgetting to ask people like their origins, and it's sort of the same thing. It's like, it's a spur of the moment thing, or it's sort of like a nickname that you had for a certain amount of time, and then you just decided to have it as your actual producer or artist name.
I just picked it and just went with it, man. I had never thought that it would actually have some sort of following thing, so just kept it ever since. It's what I've been going with.
I feel like I asked this earlier, but are there any like questions that you want to ask me again? Because I'm kind of mentally, I'm trying to think of any other questions for you, but I just kind of ran out earlier, like 5-10 minutes ago.
To be honest, man, I don't think I do. No, I don't think I have any other questions, man. Thank you so much.
Like, I'll try to think of as many questions as I possibly can, but we talked about basically anything I could cover when it comes to like live scenes, meeting people, just everything that I can think about right now when it comes to the funk scene. Nothing is really polished to I would say the videos in general. I just try to go with the punches in general, so there's always room for me to like improve, I guess. That's actually funny that I say that, because like seeing everybody improve versus like where they started, especially when it comes to like their careers or like their timeline of them being producers, similar to Vaughn did how a certain collective changed funk in general. It's sort of kind of cool that you can hear the difference throughout the years in general.
Yeah. I mean, you should hear some of the stuff that I made when I first started. It was absolutely terrible, but like we touched on before, man, you just, as long as you keep working on your craft and really develop your own sound, I think that's the way that you get big in any music scene. Is you have to have a sound that's completely different from anybody else, and so that people, when they hear their music, you go, oh, that's so and so, blah blah blah, immediately just through the song or whatever. So I think if you really, want to stand out and get big, my advice to like any young producer is get your own sound and do things to innovate and move the genre forward, and don't give up, man.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like that's great advice for anything. Like, I'm gonna just say that again. I feel like we've already touched on that subject multiple times, just talking in general. So what's something that basically wish to see in the next year to 3 years, I would say, because there are multiple talks. I've also talked about this being like another tour possibly happening, future drops with people. There are multiple collabs that are probably in the works as we're either talking or speaking right now. What's something that you think should be to expect in the next year or two, whether it be more shows, whether it be more content for people? Just what do you think might be able to expect in the next year or two?
I would love to see way more shows, and I know I talked about this earlier, but it would be really cool to have like a lot of artists that are overseas to come over here to the States, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Because there's so much talent overseas, dude. That not saying that there's not talent here over in the States, but it would just be so cool to have them come over here and introduce like their sound to the audience out here. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, man. I know Alec. I know he talked about probably having a few people over. Don't quote me on this, but I think there was a talk on having Roland come over, but that's like probably like a year in the making. I don't even think they're even talking about it right now, but I mean, who knows? Maybe from this call, they might actually have something, or they might have that conversation in the DMs in general.
Yeah, but it's just like a lot of work to figure out. There's a lot of paperwork and shit you got to do, to come over here and do shows and whatnot. But yeah, man, that would be super cool. Rolling out here would be super sick. In the Black Box, I don't know, have you ever been to the Black Box before?
Yeah, I've been there one time for the 1 year. I wanted to go for the 2 year, and I keep telling people that, well, it's the same way that I had to work literally for like 7 or 8 hours before actually going to the Baltimore show, like last passing Thursday. And then I was off, thankfully, the Friday after, so I could just hang out with everybody for at least a few hours or some range of time. And then I had to go back to work yesterday on Saturday. So it was definitely a pain, but hopefully like in the next year or two I can get a better job where I can have a set schedule where I can like request off more easily.
Yeah, Roland Jones in the main room at the Black Box would be super sick. I've only ever seen Phonk in that side room. I don't know if you've been in the side room at all, the Black Box.
Yeah, I know Beck was in the side room for the 1 year. The main room, I know Imperium or when Devin performed. I think Escape, that was the first time I think I met Escape and Vaughn, and then that was actually the first time I actually saw Ryan in person. Never knew who the man was, but that was I think the first time I ever saw him in person. I've met him like 4 or 5 times at this point, and he's so fucking cool, man.
Vaughn?
Yeah, Vaughn and Ryan. Ryan Celsius.
Yeah, Vaughn is super nice, man. I got to hang out with him in Portland. He was a really nice guy. We had a great set too. I don't remember what the venue was called. Ryan also a really nice guy. Great DJ as well.
Yeah, especially like, dude, his visuals on his channel are awesome.
Yeah,
that's like one thing that he definitely brings that's different. I think it's VJs or like virtual DJs, I would say.
Yeah, that's
like something that I think the only person that does that is when it comes to that set, like the glitch artwork, I would say.
When I went out to Dallas, he had this really cool machine. I don't know, but it basically like pre-added analog like effects to the visuals and stuff, and he was doing it like during my set at in Dallas. That was super cool to see. But that's something I've always wanted to get into too. I think Ryan like even records it from the VHS tapes and stuff and makes them all custom and adds his own glitches and whatnot. But yeah, that'd be super sick to get into. It looks very challenging though. I'm not gonna lie, very time consuming.
Dude, I remember the first time I saw him in action when it comes to like there was like a PlayStation setup that Ryan had, and
oh yeah,
it was so weird seeing that like that retro style that he went for at the DC show, and that was the first time I've ever seen somebody have something that was sort of like retro, have that aesthetic as well.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about though, where he like holds up the PlayStation remote and he's like DJ.
Yeah, it was just on the table, and then he was just messing with it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because it looks so cool, like how he aligned it with each and every single person's set, even though I think it was two or three people before him, and then it was his set. So it was really dope to see. I'm so exhausted. I'm still super hype about all the shows in general, man. Like, I can't wait for like the next year or two. But yeah, man, I think that's all I actually have. Anything you want to shout out, call outs, anything you want to shout out, your Instagram, your tape, anything that you want to talk about before we head off?
No, man. I mean, I just put out a new tape. It's on my SoundCloud and on streaming services. I think the only thing I want to plug is I think Phonk Around and Find Out is throwing a show in Dallas next month. I'm not sure the exact date, but you can find all the information on the Instagram. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.